Hey, today we are going to consolidate our effort and pull in 2 strength drills and 2 mobility drills and make it a workout. Cycle through it several times together and get done in under 30 minutes. We're going to start with a lower body combo. First part is a hinge, working on getting hamstrings and glutes engaged here, and also just stretching the glute or stretching all this tissue so that the better, the more mobile we are through the hip, and the more rotation we can work into the drills, the more gains we're going to be able to get, okay? So the bigger we're going to be able to build this muscle, which I know is everyone's goal, right? Huge booties. Let's go ahead and begin. So put your right foot forward, stride your left foot back just a little bit. See how my feet are fairly close together. And then put your hands here, one hand on each finger on each hip point here. So kind of push in a little bit till you find that bony part poking out. And then I want you to, as you hinge, let's go ahead and start with that. Hinge back and stand up. So we're basically doing a deadlift or a hinging pattern. Pretend like you're trying to shut the dresser drawer behind you, like with your butt. Okay, so the knee is bending, but because my hip is working, right? Not because I'm trying to bend my knee. All right, to that, let's compile. So as your right hip shifts back, I want you to pull that hip point back and think about pushing the left hip point forward. So we're doing that little rotational effort so that possibly our hips are going to be kind of in line here. They're not going to be, you're no longer going to be kind of pointing your belly button that way, but you're pointing your belly button to me. You can make it even easier to get that feeling by reaching your left hand down toward your right toes. By the way, if you're working out at home, I encourage you to take your shoes off. Mine are off by design. We have an opportunity here to get stronger feet. Might as well take it, right? All right. Let's go ahead and switch legs and do about 15 reps on the left leg. So stride the right foot back. Get heavy on the heel of the left leg. Spread the toes out and then set each of them down one at a time. And then start to hinge here. 90% of your body weight, 95% of your body weight should be on this left foot, okay? And then if you've already got your hands on your hip points, and you're already doing a good job of sending your hips back or shutting the dresser drawer, you can then start to pull back through the left hip and rotate the right hip forward, or reach your right hand toward your left big toe. When you stand up, just try to stand up. This stuff will work just by you standing all the way upright rather than trying to squeeze. Usually that pushes us into hyperextension. Let's do 5 more. 3 more. All right. We're going to superset that with hip cars. Let's be kind to ourselves for this first round and just do some capsule cars, and then we'll translate it to something a little more challenging. So let's hit 5 cars, standing strong on the right leg and lifting the left knee up. If you have a wall to hang on to, do that. I should have planned better and gotten something in my hands. Let's go ahead and keep that knee hovering right over the same point while you swing the ankle in and out. And again, put your hands on your hip points. If you feel that right hip pop up every time, or sorry, left hip pop up every time you swing your ankle out, you're helping too much. Your spine is trying to contribute, and don't let that happen. Keep those hips steady. And 5. Stay on the right leg. Swing your left knee out to the corner. Keep your hip points facing me. And let's do the same action. 5 of these. Phew. I'm going to remind you to stay tall on this standing leg. Also, that we're going to move on to upper body as soon as we finish this set. So hang in there. Last rep here. Nice. Set it down, shake it out. And let's shift our weight over to the left leg. Draw the right knee up. Take a breath in. Exhale the ribs down. Tuck the tail on the left leg. That'll keep the hip from kind of drooping out like that. And let's do 5 capsule cars here. If you're getting a pinchy feeling on the front of the hip, bring your knee a little lower and pivot through this space or this space, whatever it happens to be. Don't drive into pinchy pain. 2 more. Check in with your left leg. Make sure your big toe and your other toes are spread out nice and long and wide. All right, pivot the knee out. And let's hit 5. In this new position, check that your hip headlights are still facing me. And that knee gets really fidgety out here, so you might want to spot something in line in the distance to keep your knee hovering over, or maybe a finger holding here just to keep your knee pinpointing for that target. 2 and 1. Nice work. Okay, second exercise or second couplet is going to be upper body. So find a kitchen chair or 2, and then go ahead and elevate yourself so that or walk yourself up so that your shoulders are right above your wrists. Firmer surface is better. This squishy bench is actually not so kind on my wrists. Then soften your knees a bit and tuck your tail under just a little bit. So we're going to avoid going into this position, which is how our plank ends up when we get tired. Soften the knees, tuck the tail, and then let's do a set of 5 really slow push-ups. Go as low as you can here. 3, 2, 1 to the bottom, and then 3, 2, 1 to the top. If this is unsustainable, pop your hands up to a higher surface and try to get a bigger range. That was 2. Like this. Same setup with the legs. 2 more reps so that you can get some good depth and feel that work on the pushing muscles in the front of your chest. Ooh, this is low. We've got 1 more rep. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some swimmers. Put your hands behind your back. Make a fist. I'm going to get down so you can see the whole movement. You can stand with the wide stance. You can kneel. Take a breath in. Exhale the ribs back through space until you feel this kind of knit together, and tuck your tail under just gently. Pull your elbows back through space, and then without letting them come back forward again, lift your fists off your back. Okay, keep those ribs on the body. Keep tucking the tail. Punch your fists down. We're going to just do 2 reps every time we come to this. And 2 should be enough, and then start to sweep. If you get to the edges successfully, I'm going to give you the option of getting down on your belly for your next rep, and then for thereafter. I'll demonstrate that for this round. Bring it back down. When you get your arms back here, spiral the biceps up to the sky, or sorry, into each other, and then fists come back up. Float them as far as you can until they crash land. That's 1 rep. Okay, you can try one on the ground with me if you like. Same pattern, we're just using gravity now. So I'm not going to talk because it'll just be muffled anyway. Go ahead and get yourself set with a breath and begin. All right, we did it. Okay, back to the top. Let's grab some weight this time. I'm not going to use 50 pounds just yet. Okay. So the weight goes in the reaching arm here. So go ahead and shift your weight into your right foot. Stride your left foot back a bit. Essentially what I've done is replace my left foot with the dumbbell. So my left foot has to kind of toe behind. That's a great reminder for me for which hand gets it. So now my left hand's ready to get the dumbbell. Pick it up responsibly. And let's hit 10 reps here. Same thing. You can put your right hand on your right hip point and draw that hip back. But even just reaching the dumbbell down toward that big toe side, staying heavy in the right heel, and then standing up tall. Even just doing that, holding the bell and reaching, is probably going to be sufficient. So you can feel, now that you have some load, this stuff stretch right here, right? and then it contracts. So we're working on rotation inside the pelvis and also internal rotation through the hip to femur. So this leg bone and this hip bone are working internal rotation without even doing any of those 90-90 mobility drills that we all love. 8, 2 more. 10. Let's switch it up. Go right to the left leg. Means the right hand gets the dumbbell. Stride your right toes back a bit. Stay on the toes here so that 90%, 95% of your weight's in your left foot. Heavy in the heel. Reach with the right arm. Pull that left hip back through space. It's possible to do this wrong by hinging and kind of keeping the weight out of the hip here. So if you don't really feel much, really try to exaggerate pulling this left hip back and rotating your sternum toward the left leg. Uh-oh. I think this is 5. My internal counter turned off. 3 more. 2, 1. Awesome work. Set your bell down. We're going to move to a notch deeper than that capsule cars. We're going to do hip cars in quadruped. If you have a wall nearby, this is going to be my wall, that you can rely on and lean into, I want you to get it and put your left shoulder into the wall. I'm going to have to pretend. I'm going to fall over. Okay, so you've got something to brace against, basically. Left shoulder and left hip are on the wall here. Take a breath in, exhale, gently tuck the tail, and then let's do 3 hip capsule cars, or hip cars, pardon me. So pull that knee to the wrist, fly the shin out, kick back, keep sawing the leg back until you feel the knee start to slip under the ankle. Pull the ankle so it's right above the knee. Don't let it float out here. And then squeeze everything in toward the left, the kneeling knee. Tap the knee down, kick right back up. Don't let it go into your back. That means your glute feels fired up, but your low back is quiet. Swing your ankle and knee out together, and then draw the knee forward, sawing it forward. Check that your hip points are still facing the floor. Raise the wrist or come toward the wrist and then down. 1 rep, 2 more. Exhale, draw it forward, fly it out, swing it around, tap down, right in line with your hip and shoulder. Kick up, keep that heel pulling in, fly it out, swing the shin down, and back around. Last rep. Big breath to reset if you've lost position, and begin. I'm gonna zip my mouth and let you do it on your own. Nice work. Switch sides. Here we go. Breath in. Exhale, tuck the tail just a little bit. Push the shoulder blades away from each other just a tad and draw that left knee forward. Fly the ankle out. Kick it back. Find the edges here. It's the name of the game, right? Tap it down. Kick it up. Keep the tail tucking. Keep driving into that wall with the right hip and shoulder. That's uno. If your wrists are getting tired, push into the knuckle mound. Here comes number 2. And the fingertips. So spread that, distribute that mass out. Don't just push through the heel of the hand. That's going to die a lot quicker. Nice work. Keep fighting for those hips to be still as possible so the spine is not rotated at all. You're just efforting that hip, that femur bone around the hip. Kick it up, last rep. Nice work. And let's move to push-ups. This time 5 to 10 reps. Here we go. Shoulders right above the wrists. Spread out your handprint again, just like with the cars. Soften the knees, tuck the tail, and here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's take the slowness out of the push-up. So just drive up. 3, 2, 1. Push. Keep going like that. Micro breaks are okay, which means you shake out your arms and go back and get some more before you're done with the set. Make sure you feel like those last couple reps are really hard, but not getting messy, okay? So keep going until you find that. If you've already found it, give yourself a quick rest and then see if you can do one more, maybe 2. I'm gonna do 2 more. Oof. Ooh, I rushed through that last one. Shake out the wrists. I'm gonna move this here. And let's hit our shoulder swimmers. I'm gonna go prone. Actually, I'm gonna let you go prone. I'm gonna talk you through it, just in case. So we are hands behind the back. Big breath. Exhale the back ribs back. Tuck the tail just gently. Pull the elbows back and then pop the knuckles off the back without losing any height to the head. Punch down toward the back pockets and then start to swim out to the sides. And keep pushing back through space or up to the ceiling as you sweep the arms overhead. Try to get those pinky fingers toward one another without bending the elbows at all, without letting them touch the floor. Sweep back toward home. Nice. When you need to spiral the arms, go ahead and spiral those biceps back. Keep pushing back toward extension. Once you get your hands in line with your hips, meaning not out here, but way back here, then make fists and start to bend the elbows. Keep those ribs pulled in. Touch down. Second rep right here, punch it down. Sweep it out. Spiral. Sweep up. Bring it back out. Back home again. Remember, you're going all the way to this big extension here before you start to pull it in. Really fight for that body position right here. And then rest. Nice work. Okay, we're doing good on time. We're gonna do 2 more rounds in the next 10 minutes. It's gonna happen under 30. Get your dumbbell. Add some more load if you'd like. We're gonna again hit 10 reps per side. Right leg is working first. Left hand gets your weight, your tool. Here we go. Toe back, toe light on the left foot. Reach that dumbbell down, drive it up. Feel this right hip stretch and then contract. Aim to find that feeling on the way down. Nice job. Oh, this grip. There we go. The depth or the distance you reach is going to be dictated by how long you can keep this nice rigid line through the crown and out the tail. If you're trying to get lower and you're rounding it to do so, stop that. 9, 10. Just go as deep as your hammies let you. Switch it out. You're out of breath. This situation I'm demonstrating here, a pretty big reach, and that's because I have stretched out problematic hamstrings. I live in an anterior tilt, which means my belly button kind of tilts down and my butt sticks out when I stand without thinking about where I'm in the space. Ooh, I'm really tired. So my hamstrings are lengthened from living in that state. It's not a place you want to go. So if you feel like your hamstrings are too tight, or you can't get the dumbbell as low as I'm getting it, consider yourself fortunate to not have that issue. We all have our own issues. I know you have your own, but it doesn't mean it's a good thing. Going to the bottom of the hinge is not necessarily a good thing, or like touching your big toe with your fingers doesn't mean much except maybe you've got a dysfunctional posture or one kind of posture that needs work. All right, hip cars, we're gonna go down to 2 reps per side this time. I'm gonna give you a different angle to see what we're doing here, in case you wanna peek and see how things are moving from a different position. I'm gonna give you the butt view, sorry, but it's really helpful to see what's happening out here. So good information for doing these better. There's always more to learn. So breath first, exhale, tuck the tail, push the shoulder blades away, and then draw that knee toward the wrist. Fly the shin out. Knee and ankle are level at this point. And then go ahead and start to kick back until the knee slips under the ankle. See how I'm in a diagonal stance right here? My knee's not straight back. And then I swing everything in, keeping the heel pulling in toward the butt. Yes, maybe your hamstring will cramp from this. No, it's not the point, but if it happens, that means we got work to do, right? Tap down, kick back up. Check that your knee's right in line with your hip and shoulder and not kind of out to the side a tiny bit. It makes a huge difference for me. Then sweep out to the side so you feel that pinch on the outer hip. Drag the shin forward toward the wrist, not so far that you start to flex your back, and then back down and reset. Second of 2, make it worth the time, or the little time you're using here. So 2 reps instead of 3 means you're gonna have to push a little bit harder into the edges here and go just a little bit more mindfully through this routine. If you feel like you're to the point where even that round of 3 reps was feeling pretty smooth, okay, I'm gonna turn around. Other side, 2 reps on the other side. Then maybe it's time to add ankle weights. As long as you can confirm, you're welcome to share me a video. Start by drawing the knee towards your wrist and confirm that you are like completely locked down or 95% locked down through the spine, and it's not helping in any way. It's all hip. So you got that, you earn that, you kind of graduate with that degree of having control or more control over the femur to pelvis connection. And that means you get to add more resistance. It's just like traditional strength training. You've got to add resistance eventually, or you're not going to make progress at a certain point. Draw that shin forward and down. Okay. First half of round 3 done. Back to the push-ups. Let's go ahead and get set up with the breath. Shift the shoulders over the wrists. Tuck the knees in. Tuck the tail around, or tuck the tail under, and then go ahead and begin at the 3 count descent. And then just a standard push back up. If the tempo on the way down is really getting hard to control, go ahead and just rep it out, which means just go down and up. Slowing it down is a good way to add time under tension. When it's no longer needed, it's no longer necessary. That was 5 for me. Remember, we're going 5 to 10 here. This is a real personal number, this push-up. If you find the right height, you could probably get to 10, but you know, it just depends on what you have at your disposal, like what level you can put your hands on more than anything. At the gym, you know, we have all sorts of little tools we can raise and lower. You don't always have that luxury at home. Okay, I'm doing one more. Oh, okay. Either prone on the ground here or kneeling or standing with me. Walk those hands up your back. Make your fist. Inhale, exhale the ribs back. Pull the elbows back and then push the knuckles off your low back. Punch down. Sweep it out. Keep the ribs right here. Hold that line, that front line. Back overhead. If you did okay last time getting your pinkies to almost touch without unlocking your elbows, you can now give yourself a pat on the back. Bend your elbows, Don't let the ribs flare. Don't let your elbows touch the ground. See if you can tap your back overhead, and then back around. Good. Float the knuckles up the back. Second rep right off the bat here. Punch it back. Sweep it around. If you're on your belly, you're doing level 2 cars, which means you're strength training. You're getting gains here. If you're doing them with me here and you're learning them for the first time, you're probably getting some good strength gains too. But again, there becomes a point where this position, this upright position, is no longer going to serve you. So be mindful of just challenging yourself to do the next thing, even though it might suck really bad the first time. And relax. Okay, shake it out. How are we on clock? Oh, we're gonna go over by 2 minutes. We better hustle here. Hinge, last set. Right foot forward, left hand has the dumbbell. Keep your stance small, light on the left toes. And here we go. Right hip comes back. Drive up to standing. Keep the low ribs from flaring too. Sometimes, even if we have the hips in check, sometimes the ribs can rotate up. So sometimes I keep a hand here instead so I can feel if they start poking forward. Those low ribs kind of rotate up and out. Well, the whole thing does, but that's what you feel. 9, 10. Switch it out. Here we go. Big drive at the top. Keep those big toes in contact. Keep the shoulder blade sort of active. If you're holding some load, just don't let it fall off your back, you know. Whew. Feeling it. This is going to be 10. Okay. 1 hip car per leg. We're going to go slow-mo. So maybe it'll take just as much time as doing 2. Okay. Clearing breath, and then let's take a breath and get set, which means exhale the ribs back, tuck the tail just a little bit, get strong in the middle, pick up the right knee, get even stronger on the right hand, and drive that knee toward the wrist. Think about you're halfway. Any more than that, you're going to start to round the low back. Hold it there. Now sweep it out to the side and hold it when you get there. Maybe try extending the leg a little bit while your knee's still staying in the same spot. If you've got your leg straight, it might mean that you've rotated your pelvis to get there. So reset and make sure you can't quite extend your leg unless you've got miracle hips. Pull that heel back in until it's level with the ground, back to where we left off. Kick back and saw back until the knee comes under the heel, but your heel's not in line with your body. They're not in line with your body yet, right? We're here, we're trying to externally rotate through that ankle, or internally rotate by pushing out through the ankle. Now sweep the ankle in, tuck the tail on that left side so you really feel like you're just using that glute on the right hip. Keep pushing to the sky here. Pull the heel in closer. Pull it in closer. Pull it in closer, maybe till you touch your butt with your heel. You all right? Keep it there. Tap the knee down. Good. Kick back up. Straight in line with your shoulders and hips. Let your heel float away a bit until it feels like it's pointing up to the sky again. Keep tucking the tail. Now sweep the knee and ankle still stacked on top of each other out to the side. Don't let your pelvis rotate in opposition. Don't let that left or that opposite elbow bend. Keep that opposite elbow straight. Now drag the shin back down till it's parallel to the ground. Kick the toe out. Make sure you can still not extend your leg all the way. Pull the heel back in. Sweep the knee down and switch sides. Wasn't that fun? Okay, second side. Get really sturdy on that same side hand, which means push into the whole hand. Get a nice big splay, big handprint. Exhale, Tuck the tail under, push the shoulder blades away, and lift that knee up and start to draw it toward the wrist. Don't go all the way, hold it there. Check that you're not feeling flexed in the spine, but just feeling a stretch in your butt. Now sweep the shin out, hold it there. Try to extend the leg. Ooh, there's a cramp. Keep those hip points pointing to the floor. Pull it back in. Continue on your way, kick back. Let the knee drift under the heel with the leg still kicking out to the side. And then go ahead and pull that whole unit in line with your shoulder and hip. Tuck the right heel, the hip under real strong and pull the heel to your butt. Nice. Tap the knee down. Keep the heel close as you come back up. Now let the heel float away till it feels like it's pointing to the sky. Ooh, it already was on that side. Sweep the heel and the knee out to the side. Keep them stacked. They're one tower here, right on top of each other. Now drag the knee forward. Check that you still haven't gotten your hip or spine out of position by kicking out. You should still not be able to extend that leg all the way without running into the floor. Pull the heel back in and return back home. Holy moly. We're gonna do our shoulder cars first. My wrists are shot right now. Deal? Shoulder cars, shoulder swimmers. So hands behind the back, face down or kneeling. Exhale the ribs back, tuck the tail, pull the elbows back, pop the fists off, punch down, sweep it out, rotate. You know the way. Keep trying to lift into the biggest range you can here. Maybe give yourself a pat on the back if you can keep the ribs from protruding out and keep the elbows from sinking or floating away from the head. Keep them right next to the head. Skull crushers here. Then return. I like trying it with an open palm too. It's kind of a nice feeling, especially if your fists are shot. Right into the second rep. Punch it back. Sweep it out. Biceps to the sky. Nice work. Pinky fingers together. Maybe pat yourself on the back if you can keep your elbows close as you can to your head. Reach up. Back around. And then back home. Whoo! Finish with up to 10 push-ups. Here we go. Rep them out on your own. Keep that tempo if it still serves you. Ditch it if it doesn't. Keep pushing through the whole hand, just like we did with our cars. A little bit of wrist strength exercise today, huh? Notice I'm using my breath to get a little more bracing on the way down. You could try it if you like. Inhale and then hold your breath before you begin, and then come down. And then on the way back up, exhale. So obviously there's a little bit of reliance on being able to not be so out of breath that you can't hold it for a few seconds every time you do a rep. When you're done, glide back to a modified child's pose, hands up on something, feet still on the floor. Then you can reach one hand toward the opposite leg or foot and sort of rotate toward that side, peeking under the armpit of the arm that's still on your chair. Big rotation through the upper back. Come back through the center, plant that reaching arm back up and reach with the other arm. Send it through. And think about, you could even brace that arm on your leg into the leg so you can kind of push yourself into a deeper rotation if it feels good. And then put it back up. Come on up to standing, swing the legs, arms out. All sorts of made up words today. And that's a wrap. We might have just barely gone over time. I can't quite see the clock from now. I'll have to work on that. But really nice work. We did it.